everyone, welcome to that rewatch party where we're upstairs people now, and it's horrible. I'm Harrison Bloom.
I'm Zach Horowitz.
And I'm Mark Green.
And following up from our last episode where we watched the pilot of That 70s Show and Days Like These, we're talking about That 90s Show.
We've time traveled 20 years into the future, into a decade that we're all quite familiar with.
Wait, into the
It's
future?
20 years into the future and 30 years into the past. Whoa!
Whoa!
Spooky time stuff.
We're doing the time warp, guys.
That's what it sounds like when you time travel.
Well, yeah, it's just a step to the left.
Whoa.
Well, no, I just mean like, if you were, it's like a little detail in Back to the Future, but if you're watching it when Marty hits 88 miles per hour, like it's hard to hear because the score's going ba ba da 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 da, but Michael J. Fox goes whoa, whoa, and that happens every time he time travels throughout the series.
You'd think after a certain point he'd get used to it.
Yeah, you would, but no, because that's an involuntary reaction.
Right.
It just like comes out of him.
Yeah, it just explodes from within you whenever you hit 88 miles per hour.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Anyway, the place is Point Place, Wisconsin. The time is July 3rd, 1995, and the show is That 90s Show, the reboot of That 70s Show. They're back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second reboot of That 70s Show. We don't talk
That's
about the
right.
other one. Yeah, there's the second one, That 80s Show, which actually
the other
does
one was
exist.
concurrent. I'd argue it's a spin-off and not a reboot. So this is still the first.
Okay, no, that's
And
a
I'm
good
adamant.
point.
I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
I guess you could also call this a sequel or spin-off or something rather than a reboot, but people just say reboot nowadays when it sounds like something a Hollywood studio came up with. Like, oh, it's That 70s Show, but it's That 90s Show 20 years later. That means it's a reboot, not a sequel or a spin-off.
I do believe it's like, well, a reboot or a reboot-quel is, they're bringing it back after it's been gone for a long time, but I do not think it's super interesting to litigate all this. Guys, it's a new show.
Yeah.
It's a new show.
It's a new show. We finished watching, or we didn't finish watching because they're going to air a season 3, iCarly. And
But
then we
that's not
started
out at the
That
time of
90s
recording,
show.
so we had to do something else.
Yep. I was really excited to watch this with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think we went over it in the last episode. I really love That 70s Show and was excited for this reboot because, we watched Fuller House, which is a show that repeats the premise of its first show of DJ moves into the house. She has 3 sons, and now 2 of her friends move in to help her raise them. And I don't know why, but it was always like, it's really happening again with Fuller House. But I don't know, there's something here where it's like, well, I don't know, Eric and Donna's kid and her teenage friends hang out in Red and Kitty's house and their grandparents now, where I'm like, yes, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. That's far less to swallow.
It feels like more natural, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like with Fuller House, it's like, oh, what are the odds that there's going to be 3 people moving into the house again to take care of their 3 children, one of which is a baby.
I guess the one question I have about it is, like, I guess we'll get into this, but the setup is she's staying there for the summer at her grandparents' house, and if this does become like a long-running thing, I do wonder how they're going to keep that going. Like, is it going to be like a year-by-year thing, or are they going to come up with new excuses for her to be back at the house? I don't know. I think it'll be interesting.
That sounds like a problem for the writers of That 90s Show.
No, exactly. I think it's an interesting question. Like, how do they keep that going?
Yeah.
I have a feeling you can probably stretch a summer into a few seasons. And also, I don't think it would be too much trouble to be like, and now we go a year later for the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We catch up with all the characters. Here's what was happening to me.
Yeah.
But all this was
entirely
just
possible. Yeah.
what I meant to say by saying the premise feels more natural to me is also I was much more excited for this show than I ever was for Fuller House because
That is fair.
Red and Kitty getting a new group of dumb teens in their basement. I was like, yes, give it to me. Funnel it into my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Funnel it into the mouth hole.
Funnel it into the mouth hole. That's what I say with everything I watch. Funnel it into the mouth hole. I don't watch things with my eyes. You know me. You've seen me watch shows. I
think
close my
really
eyes,
the
I go
way,
to sleep, and I go,
really the best way to take in a TV show is through the taste. You know, each show has like its own unique taste. Mark, can you describe to me in like a sentence what every show we've watched so far tastes like?
Of course, Zach. I always will. Fuller House tastes like a summer breeze.
Yum.
There are hints of rose petal, and it's breezy and easy and not the most complex flavor, but it's there for you. iCarly tastes like a ham sandwich. Classic. Not kosher.
Not kosher?
Not complicated.
kosher.
Yeah. What is a ham sandwich kosher?
No,
what are
it's
you?
not.
You're taking.
It's not.
I'm just wondering what tastes.
The fact that was your first note.
I'm just wondering what tastes unkosher about iCarly.
I could explain, but that would defeat the purpose of.
Okay.
You really have to taste
What does the Garfield
a
show
show
taste like?
The Garfield show tastes like shit. Okay.
Not lasagna.
No, it tastes like shit. It tastes like the lasagna that Garfield ate up and pooped out.
Maybe a shit lasagna, you know?
I'm not going to keep doing it. It might sound like we're avoiding talking about not that 90s show, but we're really not. I think we enjoyed the show.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
This time around. Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about it now.
I was trying to get to it, and then we started talking about tasting things and litigating reboots.
I wasn't really trying to litigate. I was just more like, I don't know.
But anyways, we're here. We're in Red and Kitty's house. It's the 90s. And Eric and Donna are coming over for 4th of July weekend. Yay!
Everything happens so quickly at the start of this episode. We begin with Kitty dancing to Groove Is in the Heart. And then like Red comes in and he's dancing as well. Red is really fun in this episode because this is the first time where we see no kids Red.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
Red who does not have to be involved in the lives of any young people. Red is very much an observer in this episode, just going like, well, not my problem. And he's having a grand old time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's very happy. It's a nice side of Red to see.
But yeah, Kitty's here. She's dancing before you can even register what's going on. Red comes in. He's dancing. Then the doorbell rings. Eric's here. And then it turns out Eric's daughter, Leia, is here. She's going to be our main character. And then all of a sudden, Donna's here.
Yeah.
If I can say one, I'm pretty sure there was a bit where like the doorbell didn't even ring. So I'm pretty sure like Eric's first line is like, wait, Mom, I didn't even ring the doorbell. So Kitty just has like spidey senses.
Yeah.
That like my son is here.
Children's senses, yes.
Kitty, Kitty is so invested in being a mom, she can sense a child from miles away.
She had to hone it over many years, so she never knew where Lori was. I assume.
Yes, that's a very, very good point. This was probably Lori required.
Yes. God. So yeah, Eric is here, Donna is here, and Leia is here.
Yeah, we can break it down more. I just meant to, again, I felt a lot of like whiplash in this front scene because I'm trying to take notes while we're watching, and I was like, okay, there's this person and this person and this person.
It moved at a very breakneck
the first
pace.
Scene, a lot happens in this first scene.
Yep.
Eric and Donna are here. Donna is bringing in all the luggage because that's what she does.
I love that, like, they never bring this up. Eric is just refusing to help his wife carry the bags, and he's just like, okay.
Well, it's just such a good little detail because it's like, yeah, Eric walks in, they start talking because it's a sitcom and characters are always entering and talking and you don't think about it. And then Donna comes in with all this luggage and she's like, thanks for the help. And he's like, yeah, sure.
She's like, don't worry, Eric, I got it. And he's like, all right, cool, thanks.
Yep, cool, thanks. Anyway, what I was talking about. I really like Eric in this episode. Topher Grace is locked in. He's really good.
Oh, yeah. Also, fully, like, has not aged at all since that 70s show.
I know, right? And he has the same hairdo as in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. Topher Grace is wonderful in this episode.
Yeah. No, I love all the cast members returning. They're doing a really good job. They feel really locked into their characters.
it occurs to me he has the same haircut as he did in the 70s, but really that was the haircut Topher Grace had in the 90s.
Oh.
And now we're seeing Topher Grace in the 90s.
That's
Just
right.
break my brain.
Holy shit.
Mind blown.
We find out Eric is an adjunct professor teaching a course on the religion of Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
He fully just did exactly what his teenage brain wanted him to do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
See, like, in my mind, I know there's, like, you know, or it's like, think that, like, even actual colleges do, where they have, like, courses on, like, fun stuff that people take as, like, electives. And it's like, oh, surely this isn't the only thing that he teaches. But no, it sounds like that is the only thing he teaches.
Yeah, I was sort of like, what do you think he, like, studied or got a degree in the real world? Like
that's a good question.
Did he study theology and that's why
I
he's
was gonna
teaching the
say.
religion of Star Wars? Or did he study film and that's why he's talking about Star Wars? Or did he just study Star Wars?
Maybe it's like he studied theology
He
and
was knighted
film.
by George Lucas himself and got the blessing to teach a Star Wars
He wrote
class.
the first ever like a PhD thesis on Star Wars and religion, and that's how he got his job. Oh, God.
I do like Red's reaction to this, where it's like he says that, like, yes, my class about the religion of Star Wars is very popular, and then Red immediately responds with, see, this is why our country is going to lose the next war.
But I also love Eric follows that up with, well, if it's an intergalactic battle between good and evil, then we should win. And I mean, I don't remember what exactly the next war was, but I'm pretty sure it's the Gulf War, which I guess means it was a battle between good and evil taking place across the galaxy.
I really thought you were going to say, I don't remember what Star Wars was about, but I'm glad you swerved because he offered a pretty concise description of what Star Wars is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, an intergalactic battle between good and evil. And the Gulf War.
Yeah.
And the Gulf.
Yes.
But Eric and Leia, his daughter, named after, I don't know, maybe anything. I don't know what I don't know where that name comes from.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
I'm struggling. Oh, it might have been Star Trek.
Is it from Star Trek?
Yeah.
It was probably Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's Nichelle Nichols' character, right? Leia?
Of course, you're right.
I haven't seen any TV shows or movies.
Yeah. Of course, you
I
could
do
be
not watch
it could be
TV.
referring to Deep Space Nine's Leia, who was only in a couple episodes but has a strong fan
yeah.
following. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it's probably a reference to? It's a reference to Leia from News Radio.
Oh, right. Eric, classic
Yeah.
sitcom fan. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just need both my co-hosts and everyone listening. There is no Leia in News Radio. That was the joke I was making. I just wanted something secure. That was obscure. That was the first thing that came to mind. But Eric and Leia are going to be going to Alabama for father-daughter space camp.
Ooh.
Yay! Topher Grace.
That
Eric loves
sounds
space.
terrible.
It also sounds like it's not a real thing.
Space camp.
Yeah.
Well, father-daughter
Well, no, father-daughter
space camp.
space camp specifically.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of
No.
anything like that. Also, they mentioned like
No, Space Camp was real. Did you see all the like advertisements on like Nickelodeon as a kid or whatever for Space Camp?
I did not. I don't remember.
Actually,
this.
me neither. Zach, did you see
Yeah, I feel like
advertising?
I feel like it was on like the old like the like Nickelodeon game shows or whatever. And it's
Oh,
like you're
okay.
gonna win Space Camp or whatever.
I was familiar with space camp as a cultural object, but
Yes.
I don't remember seeing specific
Yeah.
things for it. But I'm very happy
Okay.
for you, Zach. That sounds like such
Thank
a rich,
you.
fulfilling thing to have. In
I
your
never
life.
got to go to Space Camp, just so you know.
Yeah, Eric's very excited for them to go to space camp. Leia does not seem into it. And Kitty, of all people, tells Eric, like, I think your daughter might need some space.
Camp. Some space camp. Exactly. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where we find out that Eric's having some trouble letting go. And
Mhm.
watching Leia grow up and grow away.
As Donna says, it's a tough age, 38 years old. Yeah.
Actually,
Good joke.
actually,
Yeah,
I have quite possibly my favorite IMDb trivia I've ever seen.
What?
go ahead.
Because this is an IMDb goof but then it looks like someone else came in and like edited the goof and has their own commentary on it. So I'm going to read this whole thing verbatim.
Okay.
Yes.
Donna states that Eric is 38, but he turned 17 in 1976, so in turn, that would make him 36 in 1995. This, however, is not considered a goof per IMDb guidelines. The below is one of the items for unacceptable goofs for long-running TV shows, and B, the last sentence. These get a fair amount of latitude when it comes to continuity between episodes. It seems unreasonable for us to expect that every detail of every character's life, every setting and situation, every fact in the imaginary world will be fully thought out and properly documented when a TV series is first devised. Teams of writers work on these things over many years, and it is inevitable that newer, better ideas will come along that will supplant older notions. These will not generally be considered as continuity goofs, unless they're especially interesting or amusing.
This is like, he had like a philosophical...
Like, yeah, right? It fully sounds like someone else came in, was like offended that someone listed this as a goof on IMDb and wrote an entire like paragraph.
Which, by the way, like I'm fine for minor sitcom like continuity things. Like all the time in sitcoms, it's like, oh, my birthday's coming up in May, and then like 2 seasons later, it's like, oh, my birthday just happened in July.
I've been watching that 70s show, and I think they like mess up whether or not Donna has any kids, any siblings.
Any siblings? Yeah, she has a little sister in like an early episode, in a season 1 episode, and then and I think like they mention another sister once, and then we never see any other sisters.
Yeah, I think they like,
or after the one appearance.
It's weird, right? Like these things happen. It's fine, but
But I would argue
someone took offense to this.
But I'd also argue that like one of the ones that you can be like, hey, this was a mistake, is when the second episode of your original show is called Eric's Birthday. And the big thing is Eric is turning 16, and then you literally do a show set 20 years later. That just feels like a very easily provable
thing. That's very strange.
That one doesn't feel quite as minor to me as like Eric says his birthday's in January, but really. But yeah, to get so upset and editorialized,
it's not that someone got so worked up.
That's
about
like a
this.
philosophical dissertation on the nature of goofs in sitcom continuity, which is so entertaining.
Yeah, like I don't care that Donna had 2 sisters who mysteriously disappeared from existence. Where did they go? I don't think about it. It doesn't keep me up at night.
Well, you see, Midge's...
Where are they?
Midge's daughter sense actually deactivated, and they were taken away.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
They just faded out of existence one day.
Yeah.
It's
but
fine.
Who's behind it and why?
The time cops.
That's the mystery that's going to keep me up at night.
They're stuck out of time in an alternate dimension.
That's really the question of the show. Yeah, but this is also where I want to commend one minor detail that the show does really well, which is its transitions.
Oh yeah, they do it well.
Because this is where we get our first just like interstitial transition to another scene, and it's I think Leia dancing to a 90s song in front of a weird colorful background, and that's exactly the kind of transition they had in that 70s show. So I'm really glad they're keeping that going.
And it's updated. It's a 90s aesthetic, and I love that. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's something that you honestly wouldn't really think about all that much, but I'm so glad they did it. And yeah, then we go to the next scene. Leia, I think, is in the backyard or something, and she hears someone poorly. She's shooting hoops. She hears someone poorly singing "You Ought to Know," and she goes to investigate, popping her head into the window of our second teen.
What?
Oh boy.
Yep. Who was it? It was Gwen, right?
It was Gwen.
Yeah, it was Gwen.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm still getting the name straight, but yeah, she's...
I'm glad you said it, because I fully did not remember her name until you said it.
I know the names mostly because I was keeping up with like behind the scenes material.
Yeah.
But yes, it's Gwen. There's a line that I really like where Gwen sees someone staring in her, I believe, second story window and is like, "What are you doing?" And Leia's like, "Oh, I wasn't doing anything weird. I was just, looking at you, wondering what it would be like to be you." And then Leia offers to get to get an old record to show, and they're hanging out. It's Donna's old room. This is the Pinciotti's old house.
I love that they immediately get to the observation that yes, Eric and Donna definitely had sex in both of the rooms they're sleeping in.
Yep. That's Gwen's first thing that she says to Leia.
He's like, wow, your parents must have fucked on this bed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if it would be the first thing I would say to someone.
Yeah, definitely not.
No.
But I
Number three for sure.
No, wait, Mark, are you saying you don't walk up to someone and be like, hi, I'm Mark. By the way, your parents used to fuck on my bed?
No, Zach, I say, hi, I'm Mark. That's number one. I just got a new carpet. That's number two. Your parents used to fuck on my bed. That's number three. Yeah, that's number two. What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying. I do think
number
it's very
four
important
is
that you talk about your
asking,
new
do you
carpet.
have any pets? It's number
You
one
got
is
like a
hi, I'm
list
Mark.
you just
Number
go
two
through.
is I just got a new carpet. Yeah. Number three is your parents used to have sex on my bed. Number four is do you have any pets?
What if they ask to see your new carpet and your carpet is really old by this point and it's not really a new carpet?
Zach, it's a conversation starter. You know me. I keep my carpet pristine, so if anyone wants to see it, it looks new, and that way we can talk about my new carpet and where I may have gotten it.
You know what?
It's
My
how
mistake.
it's how you interact with people. It's conversation starters. How don't you know this?
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you then go right to your parents used to have sex on my bed.
Yeah, that's number three.
Yeah.
I have a system.
Yeah. It's foolproof, guys.
Yeah. I do want to see that. I want to see one of those sitcom episodes where a character's like, here's my system for picking up women. And that's the system.
And it
Now
works
you've gotten
every
them
time.
off their Now you've gotten them off guard, but you've planted the idea of sex in their head.
You have
That's
to
when you
suggest
ask,
later.
do you have any pets, to show you're vulnerable.
You have to suggest later. We got to get back at your parents for having sex on this bed so much by having sex with me on this bed, and so we can tell them
It's a family tradition.
Yeah.
Yep. But we also get the introduction of our third teen, Gwen's older brother from a different father, Nate.
Nate is the best. I love Nate.
Nate's the best.
awesome.
Nate's the new Kelso. Nate's a dummy, and we love a dummy.
We love a dummy.
He's a dummy without the obvious misogyny, so it's like it's the superior Kelso in a way. Gosh.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love Kelso. I'm just saying.
I do want to say, like, the characters all do definitely have their analogs to the original show.
But they're not the same.
They all are pretty different.
Yeah.
Though it is funny because there is the same number of characters.
Yeah.
Or there are the same number of characters. There's one couple who's together.
Yeah.
There's, to my knowledge, one will they, won't they couple.
Yeah.
Right.
One of them is insanely stupid. One of them's a bad boy. One of them is kind of effeminate. Yeah.
Yep. Nate, I do think, is the most like just Kelso.
Well, you had an entire like chart made. He sent this to us. He took like the poster for that 90s show, and over all the characters, there's the text of like Eric, Kelso, Donna, Hyde, so on and so forth. For all the
Yeah.
characters, like this is our
Yeah.
equivalent for this new cast.
Yeah. Look, Gwen is a cool best friend. She's Hyde. Jay, though not temperamentally being Donna, is the love interest for our main character, so he's Donna. We've got a couple. So Nate and Nikki, they're Kelso and Jackie, and Ozzy is Fez.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It works out. Don't we all have the
Yeah.
same friend group of oddly specific archetypes?
I just do think it's funny because they are pretty different characters, but they all also are the same characters.
Yeah.
It definitely came from a conscious place of we want to recapture the magic of that friend group, but we're not going to make them the exact same people, which I like.
Right. And I mean, like, they haven't had as much, like, and we're not gonna, like, they haven't had as much time to develop their own personalities because, again, we've only seen the one episode. So we're not gonna, like, dock them on that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, in episode 1, it very much seems that Nate is a dummy who has a girlfriend. So
Yeah.
he feels pretty Kelso to me.
Yeah.
More so than even any of the other characters feel like their counterparts. He's very
More
Kelso.
so
He
than
comes in-
Kelso's son.
That's right.
He comes in,
Yeah.
he's shaving his chest. He and Gwen yell at each other because he calls her music whiny vagina music. And she says, we're going to start a band called Whiny Vagina Music. And he says, I'm going to start a band called That's Stupid.
Burn. Got him.
Burn. Got him.
Wow, they have a new Lori and Eric. They did a 2-for-1 there. Oh,
Yep.
God.
Yeah, next. My note is just Gwen's older brother is trying to shave. Nate says whiny vagina music. And my next note is Kitty misses the house being full. She misses
Yeah.
people being around.
I love that. I love that Kitty is all for it, and Red just can't wait for them to leave.
Red is so happy to not be around children or teenagers, I guess.
All the dumbassery had finally left, but now it's back. How could he bear it?
Yep.
Oh, the dumbassery.
She just wants a full house.
What a full house. That's right.
She just wants
Everywhere
a full house.
you look.
She just wants 3 kooky men to come in with 3 little girls. Kitty Foreman in Full House would make that show 1,000,000 times better. You don't have to change anything except having Kitty there.
Yes.
You know what? That's fair. Yeah.
There are a few things that I wouldn't say could be improved by just having Kitty Foreman be there.
That's true.
The Full House
true.
is one of them.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kitty wants a full house, and we're not talking the show that would have been on the air at this point.
That's right.
Pretty
Oh, yeah.
unequivocally.
Oh yeah, they would have been. They could have
Yeah.
been watching it. Do you think that we're gonna get a scene where they all watch Full House together in the TV
It's
in the
some-
basement?
It's some quintessential 90s.
And then Dave
media-
Coulier enters the
This
basement.
could be our first. This could be our first show where they reference another show that we've watched.
Oh my god, that's insane.
I really thought it was going to be the Garfield show.
Oh my god, guys! It's 1995 in that 90s show. They could watch Frasier.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
They
We're
could
gonna
watch Frasier. Frasier's been airing for 2 years at this point. Oh my
Yes.
god. Think of the
Oh
possibilities.
my fucking god.
I'm getting so excited about that, fully forgetting that the last episode of iCarly we watched did
Oh
reference
yeah, that's
Frasier.
right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Anyway, Leia comes in and she has a nose ring, which Eric does not like. Yeah, he doesn't like her nose ring. I forget what he says, but he makes some Star Wars reference. I think she's
You've turned to the dark side. That's not it, but that's
he says something about Master
says
Yoda.
do or do not. Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
there
yeah,
is
yeah.
no
He makes
try.
a Yoda reference, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"No, Eric, please."
Yeah.
I love that Leia fully hates Star Wars. I guess I would too if
Yeah,
I was named after one of the characters.
If I was named Leia Tatooine Foreman, I would probably hate Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it might be this scene where Eric says Leia Tatooine Foreman, and Donna says that's not her middle name. Her middle name is Anne. And Eric says I never agreed to that. I would love her to be Leia Tatooine Foreman. Though may I also throw out Leia Sebulba Foreman?
Oh god.
Sebulba! Yes! Leia Jar Jar Sebulba Foreman the second.
Leia Jar Jar Sebulba Foreman.
I guess that would be
Leia
impossible.
Cassian Andor Foreman.
Andor Foreman.
Leia Gulp Shitto Foreman.
Leia Sebulba
Leia Babu
Greedo.
Frick Foreman. I think it should be Babu Frick. I think it should
Babu
be Leia
Frick
Babu
Foreman.
Frick.
Oh god.
I know it hadn't come out yet,
Leia
but
Lando
Babu Frick.
Calrissian Foreman.
We could do this literally all day, and I would
Yeah.
have fun doing it. But yeah, Leia. My note is Leia and Red both hate Star Wars. It's great.
True.
Yep. Also, Red likes that Eric and his daughter are fighting. Like, Red is getting joy out of this happening.
Oh yeah.
I think he
Yeah. I
says,
think there's, like, a
"Karma's a
thing that,
bitch."
Karma's
Oh, I
bitch.
have something that. Oh, does the scene where he says "I've never been prouder" come later?
That's later.
Yeah, that's later.
Because
But I just want to know, one, it's just, I think it's so funny that after years of fighting, Red's like, my son is fighting with his daughter. Great.
it's
Again,
because he's not involved, so he's just watching everything go down.
Red has catty vacation energy in this episode.
Oh, he's
Red
great.
is just sitting down, watching everything happening, not caring about any of it,
Yes.
and being like, I'm having a good time. Like even Kitty, like Kitty has this whole thing she wants Donna to call her mom,
right.
which is funny because like we had a pretty, like, Kitty was pretty much Donna's second mom in the original show. So it's just funny to me to be playing this thing of like, does Donna like hold Kitty at a distance?
Yeah, no, my interpretation was that she's so used to calling her Mrs. Foreman over the years because she was like Eric's childhood friend and then like his girlfriend. Yeah. So of course she called her Mrs. Foreman. That it probably just feels weird to say mom. But she should at least call her Kitty. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I love this little conflict. But yeah.
We go over to the basement, but not the basement. We go over to Gwen and Nate's basement, where they're hanging out with our new friend, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Who I really can't stop.
I didn't really like Ozzy.
I think
I'm not.
I think he's probably the weakest. I think he probably just needs more time to kind of show his strengths.
Yeah. Ozzy is played by the actor who played Yo-Yo in Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Oh my god.
So he's got that going for him.
Nice.
Good for him.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Ozzy is, I mean, I feel like he's the new Fez in that he's sort of like a hanger-on, but their friend, it's very hard to say their non-white friend, especially because there are a couple of non-white members in the gang.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's sort of like catty and judgmental.
Yeah.
Right.
He does not like Gwen's basement.
That's right. I love that, Mark, you pointed this out. I didn't notice it, but I love that the couch in the basement is now the 70s couch from the living room.
Yeah. Well, that's when we go back to the Foreman's basement. We're not quite at the Foreman's basement yet. But that is a detail.
Oh,
yeah, because they're hanging out in Gwen's basement, which is filled with like junk, and the chairs are just like folding chairs.
That's right. I forgot. It's different.
I mean, part of I think like that's part of why they have Ozzy go like, this basement sucks. But yeah, later on in the Foreman basement, the furniture from the living room from the 70s is now the furniture in the basement, which is a really fun touch.
I love the idea that they upgrade their upstairs furniture and discard the old furniture in the basement.
Yeah. We meet the rest of the teens. Nate's girlfriend, Nikki, who I don't have much to say about other than she like makes out with Nate a bunch.
And is kind of the Hyde. Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Or is Gwen the Hyde? I'm thinking too hard about this.
I feel like Gwen's the Hyde, and she's
I think
more
Gwen's
the
the Hyde in that she's Leia's friend who's cooler than her.
Nikki is also kind of a bad girl, but is kind of more slated into Jackie's role.
Yeah.
So
because she's dating the Kelso. I say the Jackie in Tyler, who has seen the rest of it, says not Jackie's time will come, but at the moment she feels very much not Jackie. She's
Well, I mean, I feel like out of all the
girlfriend.
I feel like all the characters, out of all the characters that are like the friend group or whatever, I feel like we spend the least amount of time with Nikki.
Yeah, that's true. She gets a good line or two. Her in this scene, she consoles. Yeah, exactly. In this scene, she consoles Nate, who was scared because he thought the McRib was leaving the McDonald's menu forever. But turns out it wasn't.
No.
Love Nate.
Still
love Nate. He's the best.
Love us some Nate. We love a dummy. Nate's so good. Nate's real good. I like Nate.
She has a line about like later in the woods I'll watch you do karate on a tree, and he's like, thank you, babe, that would mean so much to me.
I really needed this right now. I really needed someone to watch me do karate on this tree.
Yeah,
that's how I vent my frustrations.
That's what I was thinking about. That's maybe my favorite line of the episode. Maybe not, but it could be. That does come later, but it's like, yeah, that line, I'm like, yep, they gave her one knockout moment in this episode.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But yeah, then as you were saying, Mark, we meet Jay.
We meet Jay, who's this dreamy young man whose parents we don't know. We don't know who his parents are going to be.
He's oddly...
They could be anyone.
Ooh.
We could know them. They could be characters from that 70s show. We don't know.
They could be characters from a different show.
Yep. Maybe he's Ross and Rachel's kid.
Yeah, this could be a crossover universe.
Ooh.
You never know.
Yeah, Ross and Rachel move to Point Place, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And have a child together.
Leia meets Jay, and immediately there's sort of a vibe between them. I wrote Leia meets Jay horny ?
Both pretty horny. Yeah.
Jay's
Jay
pretty horny all
immediately
the
asks
time.
her. Yeah, he says to her, "Are you spiritual?" Yeah, Jay. It's a funny thing in that I feel like my handle on Jay's character at the moment is not so much that he's like super horny and like making sex jokes and everything, but he like tries to seduce like every person he meets.
Yeah.
He's not like outright coming on to everyone, but it's like he meets Leia and the first thing out of his mouth is, "Are you spiritual?" And later he meets Kitty and he's like, "Mrs. Foreman, your basement's a really warm, inviting place."
He's just
I
really
can't wait to spend more time in
into-
it this summer.
Yeah.
He's just really into sex as a concept. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe
Really
it.
looking to spending time inside of you or a basement.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think he ever overtly says anything sexual, but he's like fully coming on to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of great.
Yeah.
Mostly Leia and Kitty.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I guess that's his thing. Also, we find out that he and Nate are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
We
They're
cut
best
over
friends.
to Jay, Nate, and Nikki in Nate's van. Another reason why he's Kelso. Kelso had a van.
Also important to note, Jay gets shotgun because, you know, you got to look out for the homies first, bros before hoes.
Yeah.
Nikki is very upset
I forget
about
what
this.
prompts it, but there is an exchange where I think maybe Nate just says like, "Come on, bro, you're my best friend." And Jay goes, "Bro." And Nate goes, "Bro." And they just do that back and forth at each other for a while.
Yes. They do that a couple
I really
times,
like that.
especially after this scene. But I love the subversion in this scene of the first... The episode we watched last week, the pilot, had Eric giving Donna the front seat and making Kelso sit in the back.
Yeah, Kelso sit in the
Whereas
back.
Right, yes.
now Jay Kelso
Yeah.
gets to sit in the front.
Yep. Oops, you spoiled it. Jay is Kelso.
Harrison, what the
Jackie's
fuck?
son.
Actually,
Yeah.
Mark, it isn't said if Jay Kelso is Jackie's biological son.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I haven't
just-
said that yet.
Kelso
Right,
just says
it's
like
just Kelso.
he's got his
yeah.
dad's looks and his mom's brains.
That's right.
It's not
That's
explicitly said that it's Jack. It could just not be Jackie's.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
true.
we have this scene. They're sitting in the van. They're hanging out, and a man comes up to them and accidentally delivers them a keg. And it's really good.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's something where it's like, oh, hey, you guys pre-ordered this keg, right? And they all just look at each other and they're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, and you pre-ordered it.
And you
prepaid.
And you
right?
prepaid for it. Right? They go, yes.
We did that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
great.
really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, so you're the people I'm delivering this keg to? Yes. And you prepaid, right? Yes.
Great delivery, and I love that they stumble into the exact same conflict that they had in the season 1 of that 70s
the
show.
Season 1 episode, The Keg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a keg, but they don't have a tap.
Well, this is when they decided, like, well, the person at
Yeah.
the beer store doesn't know Leia, so we'll have Leia go
Yeah.
and do it.
Well, that's why I was checking my notes, because there is actually one scene in between these things. It's our
God damn
classic
it.
Netflix sitcom. We've sort of forced apart two scenes that really should be together, because we have a scene in the Foreman's kitchen where they do the table. Remember the table when
right,
they used
yeah.
to do drugs? They do the table, but instead
Right.
it's the kitchen table.
I love that.
And
I forgot about the table.
It's whip panning around. I believe in the original show they didn't do the I think here it's digital whip pans, and in the original show it wasn't. And I think it's probably so they can edit it together.
Yeah.
More easily, but it doesn't look quite as well. But yeah, they're going around the table with Eric, Donna, and Kitty. Donna still won't call Kitty mom. There's a really good line where Donna says, like, oh my God, we're upstairs. Or no, Red says, you're upstairs people now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Donna says,
So
I knew this would happen eventually, but I didn't expect it so soon, which is so great.
I thought we had more time. Yeah. And then Red's like, what's all this smoke? And Kitty says, my roast. And she goes and her cookies. And she goes and retrieves
something she's making.
Something she was
cooking
baking
something and it's
that was
burning.
Burning. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go back to the teens. They can't tap the keg because Mama, who runs the liquor store, knows them all and won't sell them a tap. Nate declares that he hates America. This is when Nikki says, why don't we go to the woods tomorrow and I'll watch you do karate on a tree.
Oh, God.
And that makes him love America again.
It's so good. It's so good. I will say, like, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I think pretty much the scene where they're in the car and they accidentally get a keg delivered to them is where it really got going for me.
Yeah, It felt like they were settling into a good rhythm there, which I liked.
Yeah, and this is really good. I'm into these teens and their misadventures.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have an idea. Oh, she doesn't know Leia, so why doesn't Leia go get a tap?
And they devise a master plan.
Yep. Jay says she has really pretty eyes, but Ozzy thinks she's going to get carded, so they do devise a master plan, which I really love.
Yeah.
Which is, we cut over to the liquor store and Leia is there and she steps forward and she's dressed as a pregnant lady.
Yep.
Guys, you know me. If you have a plan, that's great. If you have a plan that involves a disguise, even better.
Even better.
Perfect. Chef's kiss.
Leia is a true master of disguise. She walks right up to the counter and Mama immediately goes, should you be drinking in that condition? Which, perfectly reasonable question to ask. To which Leia's like, oh no, it's my husband. He got a keg for the baby shower. Which works.
I would have said
somehow.
4th of July
Well,
because this is supposed to be taking place over 4th of July, but
Yeah.
That is absolutely true, but I do really like the reason it works is because Mama's response is, oh, fancy. I really like
Fancy.
that. Maybe
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then, Leia goes to pay for the keg, and all of a sudden her baby moves.
Yeah, it shifts
kicks?
around.
You mean her baby kicks?
Leia's water actually breaks. She's been pregnant the whole time. Yeah, for real.
Her baby actually moves to, like, the side.
Yeah.
You mean her baby bump?
Her baby
You
bump.
mean her baby bump moves around her body to the side?
Yes.
But
Uh-huh.
okay, because now I'm confused. So she wasn't pregnant?
Mark,
They pulled
I'm
a bait
gonna
and
tell you
switch.
this. Here's something. It was
Wait,
a
Zach, where do
disguise.
babies come? Okay, it was a disguise. Zach, where do babies
It was
come
an
from?
illusion. She's a master of deception. Oh, you want to know where babies come from? Okay.
Yes,
so when
I do.
a mommy
More
and a
than
daddy
anything.
love each other very much, the mommy takes a bunch of stuff and like puts it up to her belly like Leia just did. It didn't actually work because she doesn't love anybody very much. But like you put a bunch of stuff like up your shirt and make like the belly bump, and then all of a sudden it becomes real.
For a second, I thought you were going to say when a mommy
And
and
then you have
daddy
sex.
love each other very much, they drive somewhere where their parents won't hear them in a Vista Cruiser and and make Leia after season 8.
But yeah, Mama sees through them because that doesn't happen with real pregnant women.
Yeah.
And she threatens to call the cops, and Leia says, if you call them, I'll tell them that you gave alcohol to minors. And there is a very good moment, or there's a moment that I really love where she says like, well, I didn't do that. He did that. And the like assistant guy goes, Mama.
Very good.
But yeah, Leia says, if you call the cops, I'll tell them that you delivered booze to underage kids. But I won't say anything if you just sell me this tap. And so she gets the tap.
Also, you can't drink a tap.
No, that's one of my favorite lines from the original That 70s Show.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned this, but like Leia is like a debate team like champion.
Yeah, I
so
love
she
that.
shows it
That's
off
true.
here.
Honestly, I didn't even make that connection, but I'm glad you did, Zach.
Well, she brings it up. She like
mentions it, like, at the
cheers her.
beginning.
No, I
She brings it
remember
up
she
again.
mentions it.
Yeah.
I didn't remember she brings it up again.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
remember the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're all looking at me like I'm
No,
insane.
sorry. We were going to say that, and when they're
'Cause you are.
cheering at the water tower, she cheers her debate coach. She's like, "Thank you,
Oh, her
Mrs.
Debate
Jablonski,
teacher.
for
Yeah.
cheering for pushing me to become
yeah.
a debate champion."
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they do celebrate at the water tower. Gwen tells Leia that she should stay, and they watch the fireworks, which of course over at the Foreman's house upsets Eric because Eric said she had to come home for the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
So Donna and Eric are very upset. But Leia comes and she says that she wants to stay. Donna and Kitty are immediately very like welcoming and like, okay, if that's what you want to do. And Eric can't believe that they're not supporting him in wanting to hold on to his daughter forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, he already paid for space camp. For
He
father
already
daughter
paid for
space camp.
I guess
He and
Donna's
Donna
gonna
should
have
go,
to
and
go.
they should pretend that Donna's his daughter.
Oh my god.
Yep. Leia storms off and she says, like, I'm not getting in that car tomorrow. And Eric has maybe his best line in the episode. Maybe not, but maybe his best line in the episode. He says, you'll get in that car or my foot is going in your ass. And that's
and then
where
we get,
Red...
maybe Red's best line in the episode follows immediately after, where like there's a silence afterwards that Eric just like said all this stuff, and then Red goes, I have never been prouder of you, son.
It's so,
which I think might have been not only my
good.
favorite Red line, but my favorite line in the episode.
It's such a good line,
really good.
and it really
It's
is
so
like
good.
thematically important too, which is so great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's
like
really
Eric's
good.
becoming his father. I love it.
Yep. But so we go to Eric sitting on the car in the driveway, just like the pilot, and
Mhm.
Donna goes and joins him and tells him it might not be a bad idea for Leia to stay with her grandparents. Eric and Donna are very cute together. They have a really cute moment. They still have a lot of
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like the pilot again. They do the little like
Yeah.
head push thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They do the head push thing as a callback to the pilot, which we just watched.
Yeah.
So we caught that. You didn't think we would
Yeah.
catch it because you don't think we're very smart, but we're really smart.
We're some real eagle-eyed viewers over here.
I've read so
That's something that I
many
even
books. You don't
IMDb
even
didn't
know.
catch.
But yeah, Leia is down in the basement, the Foreman's basement this time, which does have the furniture from the 70s.
Yes.
Right.
She's really upset. Eric comes down to talk to her. He notices her nose ring that she got is gone, and she says, well, yeah, it was a magnet and I sneezed and it went down the drain.
It's just so funny. I love that.
Very good.
I liked that a lot.
I love that Gwen is not
Um,
cool enough to have a real nose ring.
I love that
Yeah.
Leia is just as much of a dork as Eric is.
She has that
Yeah.
same
Very good.
quality that she's just like stumbling through the plot. Like, yes.
I do feel like even they're sort of different because Eric, I feel, was much more sarcastic than Leia is.
Yeah, definitely.
Leia, I feel like, is even
Yeah.
more kind of sheltered.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then there comes to actually what might really be my favorite Eric line because it just made me laugh a lot. Where Eric's like, you should stay here. I had a great time growing up here. He's talking about the basement. He says, my friends used to spend all our time down here. We'd listen to music. We'd goof around. We'd do other things. I just love him stopping short of telling his daughter, yeah, we used to do so much drugs.
Foreshadowing for later.
Yeah, we used to do drugs, but he tells Leia that she should stay.
Yeah. Great.
And she's really happy.
And then
It's
she
like, good for
asks
her.
if they ever had sex on the stairs, because Eric says that he fell in love with Donna on the stairs.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow, what a question to ask your father.
Yeah.
And he like takes a minute to stop and think about it too.
Yeah, that's what I love.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's like, did we have sex on these stairs?
I don't know. It's possible. We did a lot of weed in this room.
Did they pull the room and have sex on the staircase?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so Eric and Donna are leaving. Donna gets all the bags again.
Yep.
Great. Wonderful.
Really good callback. Kitty hugs Eric and just doesn't let go. And I liked this line. She says, "I'm listening to your heartbeat." And Eric, still being hugged by Kitty, walks over to Leia. Kitty lets him go. Eric gives her a hug. And you know what? Eric maybe just has some bangers, because maybe this is my favorite. He says to her, "And Leia, I just want you to do one thing this summer." And he like looks Red straight in the eyes and he says, "I want you to hang out in your grandpa's basement as much as you can."
It's so good.
It's very good.
Inviting the terror
Yeah.
to come into the basement again.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And Red's just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it's so good. It's really good. I love it. Donna calls Kitty mom before she leaves.
Oh, so
It's a
cute.
very cute moment.
So
Yeah.
adorable.
Yep.
And then they leave and everybody's in the basement.
Yep.
Mhm.
Or
Well, I
wait,
believe
no,
we have one
no,
more scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
How could I forget?
I think, yeah.
The
I think
ultimate
verse,
cameo.
like Kitty's encouraging Red. She's like, or is saying how she wants the kids, even though Red doesn't. And Red says, "Son of a bitch," which I just think is so funny. Like I said, Red's been on detached vacation mode this whole episode. And for the
For
episode to end
several
with, nope, they're going to be
years.
teens now. Yep.
Yep.
That's right.
And then Red meets Jay, right? That's this
Yep.
scene.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Red
meets
and he's
Jay,
like, wait,
he asks-
who the hell are you? He's like,
Yep.
I'm Jay Kelso. And he's like, no.
Yep. And then Michael Kelso shows up.
Woo, woo.
Yay, Kelso's here.
Kelso's here and he's still stupid.
He is
Yep.
stupid, though I
He's the
do
best.
think he
Yeah.
has the vibes of a very stupid adult as opposed to a very stupid teenager, which I do love.
Yeah.
That is a
do
good point.
I mean, there's
That is
another
true.
banger of a line. There's another banger of a line
Yeah.
from Red here. When like Kelso's like, I see you've met my son. He's great. He's got his dad's looks and his mom's brains. Got straight A's this past year. And it cuts to Red and he's like, good God, they're evolving. Which I
Yeah.
think was very fun.
It's so
It's
good.
really
It's like,
good.
oh no, he
Yep.
made a super Kelso. A Kelso who's who's
They're
attractive
evolving.
but smart.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep. And Jackie comes in, says,
Yay.
"Michael, let's go."
Yay.
Michael,
And-
let's go.
And they're
Fantastic.
getting
I do think-
remarried again.
Yeah.
They've been married, divorced, and now getting married again.
It's fantastic.
And I do think we should mention, because I do think it's purposeful fan service when Jackie comes in and demands Kelso. He does go like, "Damn, Jackie, I have to say goodbye to the Foremans." Like they work in a, well, damn, Jackie,
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
can't control the weather.
I can't control the weather. What a
But
cameo.
yeah, it's-
What a good cameo.
Yeah, Jackie's
It's so good.
Jackie's back. She's bossier than ever, and they're gonna get remarried for the second time.
Love it. I love that we see Kelso again.
Wait. They said remarried for the second time. My question is, does that mean that they're getting married a second time or they're getting married a third time? Like they got divorced
Ooh.
twice.
Good question. I like the married for the third time better because it's funnier.
I think it's married for the third time.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very in character for them.
Kitty is excited to have kids around again. Red is not. And then Kitty and Red show the kids the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Red lays down some rules. I think this line was in the trailer, like Leia's like, you know, he's like, "And no parties," and she's like, "Oh, you're such a kidder," pretending to be such a hard ass. And then she looks at Red and she goes, "Okay, no parties, you guys." or whatever the line is. And then
Yeah.
Kitty gives them some of Eric's old stuff, including his old Candyland game, which, if you remember the original series, was his secret hiding place that everybody knew about.
Except he doesn't hide money there anymore. He hides something a lot more fun.
Drugs.
After Kitty leaves, we find out his old weed stash is there. Which would definitely be expired by now. It would definitely just be like dried hay, like dried weed hay. But no, they decide they're gonna smoke it.
Also, I'm pretty sure that like there's a line in there that Leia does not know what weed looks like. Leia's like, "What is that? What's in this bag?"
Yeah, she says, "What's in the bag?" And then I think they're all like, "Oh my God, your grandma hooked us up." And then I think the last line of the episode is Leia going, "But seriously, what is it?" And then we end. And again, I just want to reiterate, Jay kind of comes on to Kitty in this final scene. That's at least how I read it, when he's like, your home is so welcoming, and I can't wait to spend more time inside it this summer.
It's so God, Jay.
He's coming on to Kitty
you phrase it
or
that
Leia
way?
in that moment.
Definitely.
I just think it's funny that
them.
that's his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the episode.
Yeah, I had fun with this episode. It looks like it's going to be a fun
Me
show.
too.
Of all the reboots we've
this
seen,
brings
I
us-
definitely think this is the strongest one we've seen so far for this
Yeah,
podcast.
I think so. I'm excited to see the next episode. I want to like actually talk about the show rather than just talking about, I think it has some faults, but I think it's fun. I think the new characters are pretty fun together.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it sort of has that thing that like the first episode of Fuller House had as well, where it's a lot of setup. And it's like, I'm excited to see these characters together now. I'm wondering if there was a way to start it with like, from the get-go, Leia's going to be spending time here, and we sort of get to her and the teens hanging out a little earlier. But I think it was a really fun first episode. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm excited for the rest of the show.
Well, Mark, I think the key difference between this and Fuller House is that there isn't a point in the show where all the teens just take a break to stare at the camera for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't
That's
do
true.
they didn't do a what I think we expected to happen. They didn't do a "where's Hyde these days" joke, which maybe that's for the best.
Good. Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's good to make that joke.
They don't spend as much time like passing the torch, but they do manage to accomplish that in a much more natural way than I think like Fuller House did, which I commend them for. Yeah. And I'm excited for this wacky group of teens.
Yeah. And you know what else I'm excited for, Harrison?
What?
Sad Boy of the Week. Let's do it, boys. First one for that 90s show. I think for me, there's two that kind of stand out to me.
Yeah.
And that's
There are
Nate
two
and
that
Eric.
stand out to Okay, there were two that stand out to me. I have one that's different, and it's less that there's another character who's really, really sad other than Nate and Eric, but I have a case I want to make that I think is
Okay.
So Eric, of course, because Eric cannot let go of his daughter, wants to go to father-daughter space camp, is obsessed with Star Wars, wanted to name his daughter Leia
Tatooine Foreman, not really.
Foreman. He teaches about the religion of Star Wars.
And he's becoming his father, which is the saddest.
He's becoming his father. It's so
thing of
good.
all.
I love it.
It's so good.
He has so many
Nate-
good moments in this episode. He's really good. Nate
As for
almost
Nate,
slices his nipple while shaving his chest because his sister's listening to whiny vagina music.
Yeah.
So there's that. Nate was scared that the McRib was gonna be discontinued.
Gone forever.
Yep. And the only way he can be his spirits can be revived after he finds out they don't have a tap is by having his girlfriend watch him do karate
I was gonna say
in the woods.
the only way that he can get better is by doing karate in the woods in front of an audience.
It's so
Yep,
good.
it's so good.
Like, that's
It's
so sad.
good. He's so dumb.
It's so good.
He's such a dummy. I love him. I love him so much. We love a dummy. Here's
Yeah.
my one other case to make.
Okay.
Can
I
I
want to
guess?
nominate Red.
Oh.
Ooh.
I want to nominate Red, who is coasting
I
through
kinda
his
like
senior
this.
years and is so happy throughout most of the episode, not having to give a shit about any other human or any of their teenage problems. And then at the end is going to have to spend a full summer taking care of these dumb kids again.
All hanging out in his basement again.
Yep, all hanging out in
Yeah.
his basement again. His life is ruined.
I would also like to make a case for Leia. She's pretty sad.
She's pretty sad. She's pretty sad. She's, despite, like, it's funny because it's like, it's suburban Wisconsin. And I kind of thought, oh, you could play a thing like, oh, they all think she's cool because she's from Chicago. She's from the city.
Yeah.
But like, she seems very much like this doe in the woods.
Yeah.
And they're all much cooler than her.
Remember,
Which
when she
I
sees
really like.
Gwen dancing alone in her
Yeah.
room to pop music,
Yeah.
the thing she says is, I was watching you, imagining what it would be like
What
to
it was
be you.
To be you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, she absolutely gets a nomination. She does not know what weed is.
It's not what
He
we
doesn't know what weed is.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh god.
I yeah,
think
so.
I think I have to vote for Eric on this one though.
I was gonna vote for Eric as well. He's
I-
doing it. He's putting
He's
it out
so-
there.
I think there's a lot of
Oh.
strong nominations in this first
Yeah.
episode.
Right.
But
yeah.
you know what? I think I'm gonna vote Eric too. Yeah, he's
There's
so...
a lot of strong nominations, but I feel like Eric stands out even among these strong nominees.
Eric's the saddest boy. We talked about this last week. Eric's a bit of a sad boy. And we love him for
He's
it.
a bit of a sad boy every week.
Yeah.
It's almost an unfair advantage. I guess that's why it's good he's not the main character of this show. He would just sweep
Yeah.
the competition
Yeah.
too early.
Leia will have more chances.
Oh yeah.
Leia will have more chances. Nate will have more chances. Red will have more chances.
Red will
I'm
have
sure.
more chances. Yeah.
Oh, Red will definitely have more chances. All these.
Oh, for sure.
He's got a Kelso in his basement. Oh, it's gonna be bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
All right. I think that's it. Harrison, you want to take us home?
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of That Rewatch Party. If you'd like to see more of us, please check us out at Rewatch Party Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rate, review, subscribe, do all that other stuff. And I'm Harrison Bloom.
I'm Zach Horowitz.
And I'm Mark Green.
And until next time, keep rewatching and keep your asses away from any incoming foots.